Hey you guys, it's your girl Symone and welcome back to my channel. If you guys can see by the title, today's video is another story time. But before we get into this video, y'all already know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because right now we at hold up. All right, let me stop. Oh shit, I just dropped my phone and hurt my finger. Anyway, we at 81K. We almost to 100,000 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, give a girl a thumbs up and comment down below. And hold on, let me pick my phone up. Alright you guys, so yeah, let's get into it. So y'all can see by the title, this story, I don't know what I'm gonna title this story, so I can't even say if y'all can see by the title because I don't even know what that title says neither, y'all. I'm sorry. But this story is about Enemy. I know I have came in with Enemy and then I had left and just never came back, but I'm back. I'm back. But before also we get into this video, y'all already know what to do. Follow me on social media. Y'all already know what to do before we get in this video. Follow me on social media. Instagram at Vivalayoshii with 2 eyes at the end. Twitter at LifeWithSymone. And TikTok at LifeWithSymone as well. And they'll be listed down in the description box below. I had to remember like what the hell is that? But yeah, they'll be listed down in the description box below. Make sure to follow me on social media. I'm going to get better at being on TikTok. I promise. Y'all, I promise. Alright, so let's go. So this story takes place like a while back, of course, when I was dealing with Enemy. So yeah, so around the time when I first started dealing with Enemy, remember I said how we spent all the time together? Like we was always together all the time. But before we met, I was actually hanging out with a lot of my different friends a lot. So when we met, I kind of was like not distant, but y'all know how it is. You fresh in a new relationship, you always with your boo and your friends see you, but not as much, and that's not even a good thing. You always got to make time for the ones that's always been there since day one. But at that time it was different, y'all. It was different. So anyway, me and my friend, we're gonna call her, let's just call her Lena. So me and my friend Lena, we used to hang out like all the time. So but at this time we wasn't even hanging out like that. And Lena, she knew of Enemy. I was gonna say his name. She knew of Enemy before like I started dating him. Like she knew of him, but she didn't know him, right? So she knew of him just because again, Enemy had enemies. That's why his name is Enemy. He wasn't my enemy, y'all. He just had a lot of enemies. That's why this is his name. So she knew of him because her brother was from a different hood and they hood was like kind of cool, but Enemy just was a well-known person who had a lot of hate towards him. A lot of people just didn't like him. So she knew of him. So, and he knew of her because her brother was like one of them. So every time when I would tell him like, oh, I'm going to hang out with Lena or I'm going to Lena's house, he'll always be like, oh, you about to be with Lena's brother, or oh, you finna do this. Like he would just really be pressed about this nigga, like about Lena's brother. Mind you, Lena's brother was not checking for me and I was not checking for him. So one day he was like, why you never bring Lena around me? And I'm like, that's a good question. Like, why don't I? Like, I've never bring her around. Like, he's been around a few of my friends, but I've never bring Lena around. So I'm like, I don't know, one day we got a link or whatever, just let me know when it's a good time, you know, like we could all do something. So he like, all right, cool. So it was like, I forgot what day it was, one of the days on the weekend because takeover was this night. So he was like, what am I doing tonight? Like, so I'm like, oh, well, me and Lena going to takeover. So he was like, you and Lena going to takeover? I'm like, yeah. So he like, oh, is her brother gonna go? Like, he was just being annoying. So I'm like, no, he's not going. It's just gonna be me and Lena. Like, I'm driving. So he was like, okay, well, my homeboy wanna go. The homeboy don't need a name. I can't think of no name for him now, even though it's going to be a story time. It's going to be a few story times with this friend. But I can't think of no name for him right now. So he was like, my homeboy is want to come or whatever. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like his homeboy, like no lie, he was a decent looking person. I'm like, this would be Lena's type. Like he would be her type. So I told Lena like, yo, is it cool if Enemy and his homeboy comes? So she like, who? So I sent her a picture and she was like, bitch, yes, he could come. They could come. Like it's cool. They could come. So he was like, all right, y'all could actually hop in the car with us. So when like it's time to go, y'all just pull here and park over here and then y'all can hop in not his car because you know my man did not have no car, but y'all can hop in the car with us. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we end up pulling up. It was like later in the day, but it wasn't the time we was finna actually leave because he was saying like we was gonna do some shit before. So we pulled up a little bit early. So at this time we pulled up, and at this time, remember I told y'all Enemy had a house with his brother. They didn't have a house no more. I don't know what happened to the house. They just didn't have it no more. Like he really never got into details about that house. But they ain't had a house no more. So at this time he was living with his auntie or whatever, and y'all know them Hawthorne streets ain't got nowhere to park. So we pulled over, and I'm just like pulled in front of the fire hydrants because I didn't have no plans on going inside the house, no way, because even though I used to be up in the house, used to spend the night over there and all that, I didn't have no plans of going inside the house because I was in the car with Elena. Like, how I look like pulling up to his auntie house like, hey TT, my homegirl up in here too, Elena, you want something to drink? Like, I wasn't just finna walk up in a house with my homegirl like that. Like, I just wasn't about to be up in there big chilling with my homegirl. So we were sitting in the car, so I let him know like, hey, we outside, we in the front, we in the car. Since I was in the car, I parked in front of the fire hydrant, not tripping, right? So when he was like, all right, well, my homeboy about to come pull up real quick and take me to the take me to get some, you know, dro. And he was like, and then I'ma pull back or whatever, like, you know. So I'm like, okay, cool, which I wasn't really tripping because Lena's boo lived like 2 blocks away, and she wanted to go over there to pick up something from him anyway. So that's why, another reason why we were still in the car. So I'm like, all right, cool. So when he left off, like pulled off with the friend, so mind you, this car pulls up, and when I'm looking, I'm like, that's not, well, I was gonna say his homeboy name, and I can't say it because his name is I ain't even gonna say it. I was gonna say his name. So when the car pulled up and he goes outside to get in the car, because they like pulled right there, because mind you, right in front of where he lived at, it was the fire hydrant. So I'm parked directly across, so I could see when he came out. So he pulled up and it was this car, and I'm looking like, this car looks so familiar, but this is not the friend car that he said we was gonna be with. So I'm looking like, this car looks so familiar, but I can't put 2 and 2 together. But at this time, Lena, she on the phone, so she not even paying attention either. So I'm just like, who car is this? But I'm looking, I didn't say nothing. Like, he see me, he hop in the car, they leave. So I'm just thinking like, maybe there's somebody else and we still waiting on the friend. So when they pulled off, we ended up pulling off. I took Lena by her boo house, right? So we ended up coming back, and by the time we came back, they was already there, back in the house. So they in the house chilling. So we pull up, and he just like, okay, like, y'all ready to go? Like, if y'all want, we could go to Bossa Nova first and go eat. And y'all, around this time, I was just Bossa Nova, Bossa Nova, Bossa Nova. Like, I was eating Bossa Nova like once a week. I was so in love with Bossa Nova. I don't know, it seemed like it's like hit or miss now, but your girl was at Bossa Nova all the time. Like, that was really me and Enemy's spot. So he was like, y'all want to go to Bossa Nova? So I'm just like, yeah, we do. But I was even asking Lena. So I'm like, Lena, you want to go to Bossa Nova? Mind you, don't go on my Instagram trying to find nobody named Lena, because this is not her name. This is just what I'm calling this girl. So I'm like, Lena, you want to go to Bossa Nova? Like, they said we want to go out to eat before we go to the activity. So she like, yeah, like, let's go. So mind y'all, another thing too. Lena knew of Enemy, but she kind of didn't like him because of everything she heard about him. So she was already, when I told her like he was coming, she was like, oh yeah, she want to go hang out with him. And she was like, I'm finna press him. And I was just like, it is what it is. Because they had other little, I don't know, it wasn't her beef, but it was shit that her brother had going on with him. Like, I really don't know. So she was like, she was going. So I'm like, all right, cool. So she was like, okay, I see he trying to get on my good side. Because he know Lena didn't fuck with him because he knew, because of her brother. So he knew, of course, like, Lena must not fuck with me like that. But he wanted to hang out with her, and so whatever. So, yeah, so they come outside, because I'm like, so where am I finna park at? Because they ain't nowhere to park. So he like, the homie got a parking spot. You could pull where he's at. And then we could go from there, because mind you, I was about to leave my car in front of the fucking fire hydrant. So they come outside, and when they walking outside, mind you, it's nighttime, but these eyes could see in the night, y'all. And they come outside, and I'm looking, I'm like, hold up, that's not the friend he said that was gonna be with him. It was a different friend, and we're gonna name this boy Kangaroo. And the reason why we're naming him Kangaroo is because y'all know how kangaroos be all buff and weird looking. Like, that's how he looked. Not saying that buff guys be weird looking because they be looking good. I'm just saying Kangaroo was a buff, weird looking man. So he come out, so I'm looking like, hell nah, not Kangaroo. Mind you, I've always, like, when I said I always would hang out with Enemy and his friends, I will always hang out with Enemy and his friends. And it's not because I was just this cringy ass girlfriend who wanted to be around him. No, he wanted me around. And of course, because I was the only one with the car, and I'm not the girlfriend who let you use my car. So of course he wanted me around. And it wouldn't be like weird and like that. Like, a lot of times I would be the only girl, but his homies didn't even have an issue with it. Like, they used to, like, if I wasn't around, they would sometimes like, Symone, where are you at? And then if they had girlfriends, like, sometimes their girlfriends would be around. But I guess I was just the girlfriend who really ain't had shit else going on in my life because I was always there. But but no, but anyway, so I never hung around Kangaroo. Like, me and Kangaroo never hung around each other, and I did not like Kangaroo. because it's crazy, because Kangaroo and Enemy, they friendship really made sense because nobody liked neither one of these niggas. Like, nobody in, like, I know LA is a big place, and I know a certain group of people from a certain different hoods, areas, and stuff like that. And a lot of the people that I knew didn't like neither one of these people. So they friendship made sense because nobody really liked them. And they have different reasons, but at this point, I didn't. Now, of course, me now and later on, I realized why a lot of people didn't like Enemy. But at first, I didn't know the reason why until later. But I knew why people didn't like Kango. Whatever the fuck. So y'all, like I told y'all, I have family and stuff that's gang members and stuff like that. So they didn't like Kangaroo. So that was one reason why I didn't like him, because I heard about him. Like, he was the type of person that played people out of money, played people out of plays. Like, he did a lot of shit, grimy ass shit. He was just a grimy ass nigga. So I didn't like him, one, because of that. Everything I used to hear about him from what, like, people that I know and like homies and stuff, and people really wanted that nigga. Like, anyway, so I knew a lot, so I didn't like him for that, for one. Elena didn't like him because she heard and she know about him too, so she didn't like him either. So she looking like, what the fuck? So that was one reason why I didn't like him. And the second reason why I did not like Kangaroo is because I swear a lot of times when he started getting back close with Kangaroo used to have so much to say about me. Mind you, I don't know this nigga, I know of this nigga. And it's going to get more into depth of how I know of him and how he think he knew me. But I'm going to let y'all know further down the story. So anytime we get into shit, he will always tell Enemy shit about me. Like, oh, she this, she that. I heard she used to talk to this person. She used to do this. Mind you, I don't know you. I don't fucking know you. So you just saying anything at this point. So anyway, he walking up with Kangaroo. And because I'm still sitting in my car because I'm waiting to see where they was parked at so I could, you know, take their spot. So I'm like, oh, hell no. And I'm telling her, she like, bitch, what the fuck? I said, girl, what? Like, really, what the fuck? So it started all putting two and two together when I seen the car and I knew it looked familiar. Not because I knew his car, I would see his car a lot, but because just like a month ago, there was a video on Instagram that a lot of people in LA, like, well, a lot of people I knew, like, whatever, they like the video was like low-key going fake viral around a lot of people that I knew, because it was like a girl, she like keyed his car and like busted his windows out. And I was like, that's why the car looked familiar from the video. Anyway, so he walk over there and they hop in the car with me because he was like, oh, could you drive to his spot? Because Hawthorne, you might have to park 2 blocks away, 3 blocks away. You might have to park at your own house in a whole different city. Who knows? So he like, yeah, you could drive to his car and then you could park there. So I was just like, but mind you, he know I don't like Kangaroo. He knows this. He knows nobody likes the nigga. So he hop in the car. He didn't even say shit. So I'm like, where you park at? And he was like, he just laughing, like Enemy is laughing. He was like, he parked over there, like, I'm gonna show you, just drive. So Elena was like, hello, hi, like, hi to both of them, because she don't like neither one of them. So they like, oh, what's up? So he like, what's up, Elena? Like, what's up, cuz? Like, where your brother at? Why are you asking where her brother is? Why would her brother be here? Like, why are you even concerned of her brother's location at this point? Why? So she like, oh, my brother around, why you asking about my brother? And she just giving attitude to him. But I really could care less, because at this point I'm irritated too, because why did you bring Kangaroo and not say shit? So he like, oh, no, not like that. Like, you know, me and cuz squash what we had going on. Like, I know it was some animosity between us, but we good now. So you good? And she like, oh, okay, like, I guess, like, we good or whatever. Like, you know, she just like, whatever. So they just talking. Kango ain't saying shit. We pull up to his spot and we get in the car. Mind you, I don't know why I still got in the car or why we even still got in the car with them, but whatever. So we hop in the car, and when we get in the car, like, he was like, oh, let's get a bottle, because at this point none of us was 21, so we couldn't drink at Bossa Nova. And at this point I didn't know what they had, and I didn't want no wine. So we went, and they went to like the hood liquor stores. You know, hood liquor stores, they be knowing niggas, they let them get whatever they want for no ID. But then when I come in there, it'd be like ID, and it'd be like, but you let him. But anyway, so that we go to the liquor store, we get a bottle. When he like, Enemy knew what he was doing. He hopped out the car with Kango. Like, you will hop out the car because you really just don't want to face the, like, what's going on. So I'm telling her, like, bitch, he is weird as fuck. Like, you knew, he know I don't fuck with this nigga. And she like, girl, he already on my bad side again. Like, you know. So I'm like, man, like, I just see tonight going bad, because why would you bring this nigga? So they get back in the car and we drink or whatever. we ended up going to Bossa Nova, and we didn't even sit up in there. We got our food to go, and we was sitting somewhere like, and we like somewhere off somewhere like in Hollywood, because that's where Bossa Nova was at, of course, because at that time they only had the ones in Hollywood. So we sitting somewhere like on a random street, and we just eating our food and we drinking the bottle. So it's just tension in the car. Like, they talking, me and her talking. Sometimes him, Enemy, and Elena would talk, but like, it was just kind of tension. So out of nowhere, I was just like, I got a question. And Enemy was like, what? I was like, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him. And he was like, what's up? Like, you know, what's up? And Enemy just laughing. I was like, no, I have a question. So I'm like, so what's your problem with me? And he was like, what's my problem with you? What is you talking about? He like, bro, get your girl. What is she talking about? And I said, no, for real. Like, seriously, what is your problem with me? I said, because, but mind you, at this point, the alcohol is kicking in. So he like, what is you talking about? Like, I didn't even do nothing. Like, he laughing. I said, but nah. Like, every time, I said, a lot of times me and this nigga get into it is because you said some shit, and he always want to bring up some shit that you said. I said, so what's your issue with me? Like, you know me from somewhere or something? So he was like, Symone, for real, like, you don't know me? So I'm like, no, I don't know you. I said, only reason why I know you is because I heard of you or whatever like that. I'm like, but do you know me? I'm like, because you always bringing me up. And he was like, nah, I'm just saying, like, I ain't even bring you up like that. He like, bro, let me find out you pillow talking. And they just laughing. He like, Symone, like, so Enemy like, Symone, stop. And and Elena like, no, let her speak, because I'm gonna go next. Y'all. And he like, oh, okay, y'all devil tipping me. So we like, nah. So I'm like, no, serious shit though, like, what's your problem with me? So he like, oh, I don't have no problem with you, you know, you just my homie girl. So I just told him what I knew about you. So I'm like, what do you know about me? Like, you don't even know me. Like, mind you, I'm not somebody that people just know. Like, if you know me, you know me. I'm not a known person. Like, I'm not LA famous. I was never that person. Like, I'm just, if you know me, you know me. If you don't, then I don't exist. Like, I'm not a famous person. I'm not a known person. So I'm like, what do you know about me? Like, I'm like, let me hear from you. Because, you know, sometimes people could put extras on it. So maybe some Enemy was probably lying. I don't know. But he was like, oh, okay, well, I told, you know, like, we went to school together. I said, when did we go to school together? He was like, you didn't go to Henry Clay? I'm like, yeah, but mind you, when I went there, like, I had my set of friends, and that was that. Like, it was even this person that I talked to later in life, and we went to the same damn school. And I was like, yeah, I remember seeing you at school. And he was like, you went there? Like, let me, like, boy, you talking about middle school? So anyway, so I'm like, I don't even remember seeing you at that school. Like, I don't remember you. So he like, oh, okay, well, you know, I was just saying, like, you know, oh, you used to talk to this one boy. Mind you, you're going back to middle school days, which I could tell y'all a story time from then. It was crazy, but it's like, you're going back to middle school days, and it's like, what is you even talking about? Like, for one, why do you even know this? Like, I don't even remember you. So I'm just like, oh, well, that's weird that you even would know this, because I don't remember you. Like, I don't remember you from school. He was like, well, that ain't even nothing for him to be mad about. And then, like, I just said we went to the same school together. So I'm like, okay, well, the other shit, because it was a lot of shit that he would say that he said. So he like, man, like, come on, we doing this? So I'm like, yeah, we doing this. So he like, all right, I must just get it off, like, say everything I gotta say. He was like, so it could be no more tension, because I think we starting on the wrong foot. Like, I think we got the wrong information. So I'm like, go ahead. So he like, well, I just told him you used to talk to the one homeboy, and we're gonna get his boy name because he's gonna get a story time about him. And this is just listen, so this is how he thought he knew me, or whatever. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with this boy. So he gonna say, yeah, you used to talk to homeboy, like, we have met y'all, you and your homegirls at a kickback, and I was talking to your homegirl, and you was talking to the homeboy. So I'm like, hold up, who is your homeboy? So he was like, so we gonna call the boy Messy, because when I do a story time about him, and it's crazy because Messy played a big part in the situation with, y'all know, Crazy. Y'all, it's crazy how small this world is, how small LA is, or whatever, or how I like to stay in a circle and date, obviously, I don't know. But anyway, so he was like, used to talk to Messy. Mind you, I did not talk to Messy. I did not talk to him. Like, so I'm like, and remember, Enemy came way before Crazy came into my life. So I'm like, it's just crazy how he end up being somebody I knew, or a situation, but not like that. But anyway, so he's like, you used to talk to my homeboy Messy. We met you at a kickback. So at this time, only time I ever seen this boy Messy was at a kickback. And at that kickback, we was all chilling. Nobody was talking to nobody. None of my friends even talked to Kangaroo. And at the time, everybody just passed their phones around and exchanged Instagrams. That was it. That was all. We never talked to these people ever again. So mind y'all, I did follow Kangaroo on Instagram. We had each other on Instagram, but I didn't remember where I had him on Instagram from. I just knew I had him on Instagram and nobody liked him, and he was the boy nobody liked, and I had him on Instagram somehow. I don't remember him from that kickback. So he was like, I was at the kickback with Messi, and I had to think back because I'm like, that was the only time I ever seen Messi before was at the kickback, and that's why I got his Instagram. So I'm like, oh, you was there? And I'm like, and second of all, I'm like, everybody got everybody's Instagram. So I'm like, so I'm assuming that's how I got yours. And I was like, but nobody was talking to nobody. Like, we all was just chilling, and then it was just like we left. Like, it was really nothing like that. So he like, oh, well, yeah, and I was talking to your homegirl. So I'm like, were you just like talking to her at the place? Because you making it seem like y'all were talking. I'm like, when you say talking, you're making it seem like people was like talking. And I'm like, and even if that was way before Enemy, so why? Like, are you bringing it up? Like, it was just a lie. He was just like, oh, like, well, the homie Messi made it seem like y'all was talking. Mind you, even though he has his name Messi, he did not say that. Like, I just, even though he is a messy, when we get on Messi, you always see he was a messy ass nigga, but I'm pretty sure he didn't never say this, because why would he say he talked to me? Like, it would really make no fucking sense. He didn't even know me. Like, it would be no reason for him to say that. Like, I just know he wouldn't have said that. Like, at that point, no. So I just said it, like, I explained that, whatever. So he like, oh, my bad, well, I must have got misunderstood. And I'm like, yeah, okay, so next time don't bring me up. Like, don't be mentioning me, don't say my name, don't none of that. Like, so he like, dang, all right. So Elena like, let me talk my shit now. So they like, oh, okay. So Elena like, I'm gonna get on both of you niggas. So she just going, like, she went in on Enemy, like, I don't like the fact that this, that, and the third happened, like, with my brother and all this other shit. And he like, man, that's old. We squashed that shit. Like, of course you ain't even gonna know nothing about that. That's hood politics. Like, you don't know nothing about that. So she like, all right, whatever. And she was like, yeah, because I text my brother and I told him who I was with, just in case y'all try some weird shit, because y'all know whose sister I am. And he told me, you cool, it's cool. So she was like, so Enemy, you straight, but I just want to let you know why I didn't like you. And then she was like, so Kangaroo, let me tell you why I don't like you. Because Kangaroo, I swear, it was more than one person that I knew that he did some fuck shit to, and they didn't like him. So she was like, yeah, like, it was her, like, her brother, her homies, like, it was like niggas, like, for him to be so freely hanging out with us, even though he knew who we knew, that people that he played, he was really a crazy man, because these is people that's looking for you, and you just like, I don't care, I'm gonna hang out with y'all family. Like, even though we not them type of people, but it's still the fact. So that just goes to show how dumb niggas be, because it's like, y'all be putting your trust in too many people, even though we're not those type of people, and this story ain't finna go like that, no way. So anyway, so he's saying that to her. So they like had their little back and forth. So he was like, man, all right, we gonna be all cool, we gonna have fun tonight, and obviously we need to just have a friendly fade and get it out the way. So we like, okay, mind you, at this point we like drink, so we like, get out the car. So me and Lena, we get out the car, he get out the car, Enemy get out the car, he recording the shit, and I'm mad because I really wish I had the video, but it was an Enemy phone. So he recording it, and we just like fake jumping. We like fake beating up, well, not fake, because we really was hitting Kangaroo, and he didn't kick us or nothing like that. Y'all, so we just fighting him, like, he like, all right, like, all right, friendly fade, it's over. So he like, we good. So we like, all right, we good, whatever. He like, we gonna have a good night. So we like, all right, we gonna have a good night. So after we got that tension out the way, but still in the back of my mind, I don't like this nigga, and I'm pretty sure Elena still felt the same way. So we go towards like Takeover, because it's getting towards that time where everybody finna meet up. So we go to Crenshaw, and everybody outside their cars and stuff. So we about to get out the car. When we get out the car, at this point, I don't even know. It's crazy, because this is when it clicked to me, like, why the fuck are we with them? Why are we with them? This is when it clicked to me. So at this point, everybody be at Takeover. Everybody and they fucking mama would be at Takeover. I don't know if they still do it now. I don't know. But anyway, everybody and their mama would be there. Oh yeah, they do. I seen a video of somebody getting hit by a car. But anyway, yeah, so everybody and mama be there, and we getting out the car, and when we get out the car, we start walking or whatever towards Crenshaw. And when we start walking towards Crenshaw, what's his name? Kangaroo, because it's crazy, because Kangaroo did all this shit to niggas, but Kangaroo was a scary ass nigga. And it's crazy because, y'all, why later in life Kangaroo end up, not later in life, but like when I was messing with Enemy, crazy knocked Kangaroo out. Y'all, it's just crazy how these people just all know each other, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so we get out the car, and Kangaroo is just like, y'all, oh, he like, oh shit, I forgot the blower in the car. If you don't know what that is, then I don't know. Y'all know. So anyway, so he like, oh, I forgot in the car. So enemy like, oh yeah, get that shit. So he went and got it. So when he said that, because he was like, yeah, it'd be a lot of enemies here, so just in case we gotta get shit cracking, like we already ready. So I'm like, why are we gotta be at a place where it's a possibility where y'all gotta get shit cracking? Like, why are we at a place like that? And he was like, man, it's gonna be cool. Like, I came here before, it's gonna be cool. So I'm like, oh my god, this is so annoying, because enemy will be turned up, you guys. Like, enemy, I'm gonna tell y'all a lot of more stories, but it's been a lot of times where I'll be with enemy and this nigga would be fighting people. Like, he would really fight people all the time, and I would be there. Random people, people he knew, people he didn't like, people that didn't like him. Like, it would just, like, he would literally not argue, like they would really be getting into fights all the time. So anyway, so I was just annoyed. So enemy like, yeah man, cause I'm gonna fight a nigga. Like, enemy did not care. But that one guy that was chasing him, he didn't want to fight him. But I understand, because that was a big Negro. That man was huge, okay? But everybody else, he would fight them except that man. He didn't fight him. And probably with like one other person he didn't want to fight, but he had no choice because they start fighting him. But anyway, so yeah, so we walking over there or whatever. So when we just out or whatever, it was a lot of people, and you know what, like, it was a lot of females, and it was one girl who ended up walking up to Kangaroo, and she was like, oh, you gonna get in trouble, because she's seeing him with us. And he was just like, man, don't play that. Gave her a hug, and I'm just like, oh, what, you got a girlfriend or something? So I'm like to Kangaroo, I'm like, oh, what, you got a girlfriend or something? And he like, nah, I ain't got no girlfriend. So enemy just laughing. He like, so I'm like, what's funny? Like, why that girl said he gonna get in trouble? Like, he ain't supposed to be outside. Or I'm like, or is that another somebody he played? And like, we need to get out of this situation, because I ain't finna be in no situation. So I told him, like, at that point I started thinking all types of stuff. So I was like, look, Kangaroo, I said, my people already know who I'm with right now. I said, so if you get me into some shit, they really gonna be on your ass. And he was like, it's not even gonna be like that. We not finna get y'all into nothing like that. Like, we already gonna, if anything, niggas don't want to get into it with us. And I shut your scary ass up. So it was like some niggas, like, from a way distance. Like, they didn't even see us. Enemy said he seen some niggas, and he was like, oh, we might have to fight because I see these niggas, da-da-da-da. So Kangaroo scary ass was like, let's just go. Like, let's just leave, because this ain't even popping right now. Mind you, it's hundreds of people outside. Like, it was really a cool night, but I don't know, Kangaroo didn't want those problems. So before we left, we ended up going to this 7-Eleven, right? So when we pulled up to the 7-Eleven, we pulled right in at the front. When we pulled in at the front, y'all, oh my god. So they end up getting out the car and going in first. So me and Elena, we in the backseat, we just talking shit about them. And then we end up deciding, like, oh, let's go in the store too, because we still have some more in the bottle, and I'm like, I want some more chaser. And we went inside to go get something, right? So by the time we're going in, they're already at the register paying. We go in, and I end up seeing this girl I knew from Instagram. So the girl, she was a stud, right? So we on the aisle talking. Mind you could hear us because we're loud as hell in the store. For some reason, I don't know, I be getting drunk and I talk really loud, and I be realizing later, like, damn, why did I just scream that? So we in the store, we just talking so fucking loud, and they couldn't see us because of the hour was on, but most definitely I know they could hear us. So I end up hearing enemy. He like, we finna be in the car, and I'm like, all right. He like, so they leave out. So the girl that I knew from Instagram, like, I didn't even know her like that. Like, we never spoke on Instagram ever. Like, we just was friends on Instagram, and because we was drunk and we both noticed each other. Well, I don't know if she was drunk, I don't know, but me and Elena was drunk, and she noticed me and I noticed her. We just was talking a lot. So mind y'all, we leaving out the store, and when we was leaving out, she was like, all right, bye, and she gave us both hugs. Mind you, she didn't know Elena from Instagram. They don't got each other on Instagram. She just had me, but she gave us both hugs, and she like was still standing in front of the store talking to some people. Mind you, she really looked like a boy, but you could tell it's a girl. I don't know what was wrong with him. So we get back in the car. Mind you, enemy is always just a goofy ass person, just funny vibes, cool vibes, but when he get high, he did turn into a whole different person. So we in the car or whatever, and he was like, who the fuck is that nigga you was just talking to? So I said, what? He was like, who the fuck is that nigga you was just talking to? That nigga right there, who the fuck is that nigga? So I was like, that's a girl. And Elena just laughing like, stupid, that's a fucking girl. And he was like, that ain't no fucking bitch. That ain't no motherfucking bitch. Who is that bitch you was just talking, who that nigga you was just talking to? So I'm like, that's a fucking girl. He was like, who was it? I'm like, that's a girl that I have on Instagram. So at this point I'm yelling. He's like, nah, cuz you really trying to play me in front of my face? And here go Kangaroo just sitting there probably smiling like, ooh, this some more shit I'm gonna say about this girl, because he just was a fucking weirdo. So I'm like, man, shut the fuck up. I'm like, come on, let's go. He like, no, I'm a press. He like, nah, nigga, don't go. So Kangaroo like, nah, dog, we don't know them niggas. We don't know where them niggas from. you are scary as fuck. So he like, no, I'm a person. I'm like, don't say nothing to her because that's embarrassing. I'm really yelling. He's like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that my friend right here be telling me all this shit about you. He be right about you. And then you turn around to talk to a nigga in front of me. And I was just like, that is a girl. Like, and I'm like, and I don't know her. I just got her on Instagram. And why are y'all hugging it? I don't know. And Elena was like laughing. She just dying laughing. She said, you are fucking stupid, enemy. That is a girl and we both hugged her. Like, what is your problem? He was like, no, because she really trying to, I'm gonna press. I'm gonna press. So what he do? I'm like, don't say shit to her. Like, I'm just like, don't say shit to her. That's so fucking embarrassing. This nigga hops out the car and gonna say, what's up? What's up? And she was like, what's up? Like, you know, what the fuck? Mind you, she seen the car we get in. So she know I'm in this car. So I'm in the backseat like, and Lena's just laughing, just dying laughing. Kangaroo is just nervous as shit because he don't know if it's a girl or a boy or if they gonna want to fight him and he gonna have to run. I don't know. He was just nervous as fuck. So he like, what's up, what's up? And I'm just like, oh my God. So then I roll down the back window and I'm like, get in the car. Like, you know, it's already embarrassing. And then fucking enemy gonna say, are you a girl? And she was like, yeah, why? Like, I swear, her response was never turned up. She was just always fucking confusion. So she's like, yeah, why? And he was just like, oh, my bad, cuz. He just dying laughing at this point. Just dying laughing. And I'm just sitting there like, I'm just sitting there shaking my head. I was like, Lena, you see this nigga is fucking stupid. I'm like, Lena, what the fuck? And I'm like, Kangaroo, you just let him hop out. He was like, man, that's funny. Now he's laughing and then he sees it's a girl. It's a girl. But at first you was shitting bricks in the front seat. Probably finna drive off without him, like in the car. So he get back in the car. He was like, that is a girl. And look back and he just laughing. So the whole car laughing but me. I'm just like, that's so fucking embarrassing. Like, you really just embarrassed me. And what the fuck? So we pulling off and I'm like, I'm finna go and hit her up on Instagram and apologize because you just embarrassed me. He's like, why would you apologize? And I was like, because you embarrassed me. He was like, let's send an apology video. Like, hold on, let me record. Hold on, let me see your phone. Let me see your phone. So he gonna take my phone and he like, but mind you, he just recording on my regular camera. Like, he didn't send nothing to nobody. So he just like, man, cuz, I thought your ass was a nigga. You really look like a nigga. And I thought my bitch was trying to talk to a nigga in front of me. And I was hot about it. But you a cool ass nigga. You a cool nigga. You a nigga in my eyes. Like, he really made this video. And I was just like. And he was like, yeah, go. What's her Instagram? Send that to her. Bitch, what? What makes you think I'm finna send her this? So I was like, I'm not sending it to her. He like, why just send it to her? She cool as fuck. Hey, you think she got weed? You think she got lean? Why are you asking all this fucking shit? I was just like, I don't know. I don't know which I think she might have. I'm like, I don't know. You should probably ask before you hopped out and was on some weird shit. So he did like, oh, it was just so much funny. And I would laugh here and there because sometimes I laugh when I'm irritated or sometimes I laugh when things are not funny. But I wasn't happy about this situation. So I was annoyed. So at this point, they was just like, cause Kangaroo scary ass didn't want to go to takeover, so he like, let's just post up somewhere and drink. So we wasn't finna go to my house because if we would have went to my house, Kangaroo would have got fucking stumped out. Okay, so we wasn't going to my house. And Lena's house, same situation for Kangaroo, maybe enemy as well. So and enemy, we wasn't finna go to his house because for one, ain't nowhere to park over there, and for two, it's not like we was gonna be going in the inside because he stayed at his auntie house. So how we look just pulling up again. So we went. So these was never even options. Nobody even said any of these stuff. So what's his name? Kangaroo, whatever. He was like, let's go park somewhere. Like, we could go by my house or whatever. So when he said that, enemy was like, your house? And he was like, mom's house. And he's like, oh, okay. So I'm like, what was that about? Like, I swear, when it was like, we really was just so irritated with these niggas. Every little thing that they did, if it seemed shady, we gonna speak up on it. So I'm like, what was that about, Lena? And Lena was like, yeah, what was that about? Like, what you think you finna do? Like, what you think you finna do to us? Because, like I said, niggas already know who I'm with. He was like, man, why is you turning up on me? Like, turn down. Like, it ain't even like that. So he like, we could go to, mom's house. I'm just saying because I live far. He's like, yeah, that nigga live far. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And that's another situation too. I just didn't like this nigga Kangaroo. But we'll get there. So anyway, so he's like, he lived far or whatever. It is crazy because just speaking of that, it just made me think about it. So anyway, he was like, he lived far. So we go to his house or whatever, his mom's house, and we just parked outside. We just talking. Another fucking thing, bro, you know we fuck with niggas who don't like you, even though they not on that type of timing, because they would never put us in a situation where it's nothing like that, and we wouldn't put ourselves in that type of situation. But why would you take us to your mama's house? I pray I don't have a son who does shit like that. But anyway, he took us to his mom's house, so we just sitting outside. We in the car, we just drinking, smoking, talking, and they smoking and shit. Like, we just talking, chilling, drinking and stuff, and we just all talking. Y'all, why out of nowhere? So we just talking about like truth for truth type stuff, and the next thing you know, Enemy was like, what's the craziest thing y'all ever done? So Kango say his craziest shit he ever done, and then I said mine, you know, some normal stuff. Lena says her normal crazy stuff, and then it was time for Enemy. So Lena was like, so what's the craziest thing you ever done? This nigga said, y'all, when I say I was so embarrassed, I'm just like, this nigga just like to embarrass me. He just want to embarrass me all damn night. He gonna say, mind you, another mind you. So this is around the time when I just started knowing that Enemy was a drug addict, but it wasn't that bad. Like, he made it seem like he had it under control, and it wasn't like that, and it was every now and then and stuff like that. This is when I just found out. I didn't tell none of my friends this because this was fucking embarrassing to say. Y'all know what this nigga gonna say? The most crazy thing he ever done was got high off a Sherm and was tripping out, and his sister had to come get him because he was really tripping out. Y'all, when this is Kango, what, bro, for real? For real? And I was like, what? Lena's dying laughing, and I start laughing hysterically too. I'm like, stop playing. Say something for real. Like, this can't be true. He's like, no, I'm dead serious. This happened. And he was like, oh, that's crazy. Where'd you get it from? Kango's asking these questions. I'm just like, so Lena was like, y'all some fucking crackheads. Like, she really just screamed and was dying laughing. And I'm just like, no, he did not. No, he did not just embarrass me like that. And I was just like, bro, stop playing. That didn't happen. You didn't do that. He's like, yeah, I did. He's like, I don't know if I got a bad batch. I'm like, I want to try it again. I was just like, no, he did not. What are you doing? I was like, what the fuck? Like, no, you fucking didn't. Like, no, the fuck, you did not just embarrass me like that. I'm really just sitting here in my head thinking that, because I didn't say that out loud, because I'm like, what the fuck? So after he said that, and they just having a little small talk about it, like, no, we gotta try. He like, man, bro, I probably would try with you, because I've been wanting to try. And I'm just thinking like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, what the fuck is going on in the front seat? It was like Bobby Brown talking to his homeboys. It was some crazy shit. I was just like, no, they're not just talking about this. Like, this is just normal. Like, he said, I drunk some Hennessy too fast and threw up. Like, you really just said you... So Lena's just dying laughing. And I was just like, I think he's playing. She's like, girl, no, you know damn well he's not playing. And I'm just like, ugh. So after they had this little whole crackhead conversation in the front seat, I was gonna say his name, Kangaroo, was like, I'm sorry, it's hard because I'm telling this story like, y'all, one, I'm tired. It's 1 in the morning. Well, it's 12:41, and then 2, I keep almost about to say these people's name, their real names. So Kangaroo was like, speaking of that, bro, look what I got. He pulls out some, y'all. I was like, no, he's not gonna do this in front of my friend. No, he's not gonna do this. I said, what the fuck? So she was like, what the fuck y'all got up there? Oh, hell no. Hell no. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, playing it off like, I don't know, this is his drug of choice. And because again, I just found out, like, and it was just overwhelming. It was too much for me. So she like, oh, hell no. What the fuck? So he like, man, stop acting like that. You ain't never tried this before. And she was like, no, what the fuck? And he was like, Symone, you ever try? I'm like, no. And he was like, and Enemy was like, and she's not gonna try it either. And I was like, I know, I'm not gonna try it. So he like, oh, come on, bro. So they started doing it. And then Kangaroo was like, y'all try some with me. Come on, try some with me. It's my birthday. Mind you, it was not this nigga birthday. He's like, try some with me. So we like, no, what the fuck? So then Enemy was like, Symone better not fucking try that shit. Symone, you better not. That was one thing about him that I could say that I love. Like, even though he did everything up under the sun, he never tried to, even though I would have not done it, but he never tried to say, hey, try this with me, or you should just try it. Like, he wasn't like that. He wasn't on that type of timing. So yeah, so he like, Symone, you better not try. I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking try it. So he like, Symone, I don't know, I don't care what's going on, Lena. If you want to try it, that's on you. But Symone, you better not try that shit. I was like, I'm not fucking finna try it, y'all. We really going back and forth because I'm just like, bro, why is you trying to play on my top? You literally do this shit all the time, and I don't ever just say, ooh, I want to smell. Like, bitch, what is going on today? And to anyone who watching this video, if that's your thing, whatever. That's just not my thing. And I just wasn't gonna try it and don't want to try it. So he like, oh, like, Symone, I don't know, I'm just saying, Lena. Lena's like, motherfucker, I'm not finna try that shit. She's like, y'all are some fucking crackheads. And she really was just dying laughing. And he like, man, don't get at me like that. This is Kangaroo. You know what everybody say. Kangaroo like, don't get at me like that. This is the rich man's drug. You gotta have money to get this. This ain't that pole high. This the rich man's high. It ain't even bad. Cause you know what they doing? All them rich motherfuckers in Hollywood, all this. I'm like, that's fine, sir. Do your drug and do it with your friend. That's who wants to do it with you. We don't. Like, we already made it clear. Stop trying to beg us to do drugs. He's like the person that the fucking Dare Tiger was warning you about. It's don't be that person that try to beg you. Like, why are you begging us? More for you, sir. More for you. The more the merrier for you. And for him. So at this point, I'm just like, bro, stop asking us. Like, we said no. And he was just like, all right, whatever. But I'm not going to do all of it. I'm going to have some. So then here go Enemy. Symone, I don't know. It sounds like you want to try it. And you better not fucking try that shit. So I'm just like, bro. And I was like, stop fucking talking to me. Like, we really kind of going back and forth at this point. So at this point, Lane, he put up his stuff, and he was like, let's take a walk. Like, he was like, let's get out the car. Like, that's what Kangaroo said to Lena. So Lena and Kangaroo get out the car and they just walk or whatever. I don't know, whatever. So Enemy ended up getting in the back seat, and he was just like, baby, like, what's wrong? Like, you seem annoyed. I'm like, you embarrassed me a lot tonight, not gonna lie. He's like, how? I'm like, for one, I said the girl from Instagram. He gonna say, we already sent her the video. You sent it to her? I'm like, no, I'm not sending her that shit. And I'm like, and for two, why are you telling my friends that you do drugs? Like, you know, why are you doing this? Like, he gonna say, how is that embarrassing? Like, how is me telling you what I went through in my life embarrassing? And now look at me, the pot counting the kettle black, because I'm over here telling y'all what I went through in my life, and I'm not embarrassed. But his was a little bit too much to be just willingly telling people, you know. So I'm just like, it's just embarrassing, you know, like, people already don't fucking like you, and you over here just giving them another reason to talk about you. And he was just like, well, why would she talk about me? And I'm just like, I'm not saying she would, but I'm just saying, like, why would you say that? Like, for one, you never even told me this story. Like, why did you feel comfortable to tell everybody this story tonight? So we really just going back and forth about it. So they end up coming back to the car, y'all. When I tell y'all this nigga, I was gonna say his name. When I tell y'all this nigga Kangaroo was on Lena tough, like the whole night he was on her tough, like on her tough, like, well, you gonna be mine. I want you to be my girl. I got money. Even when he was talking about the whole drug being a rich man drug, he had put out like a little, what, a $500, talking about, I got big money. Like, he did all that too. But he was on Lena tough, like, oh, what you need paid. You need your hair done, you need your nails done. Like, he was on Lena tough, talking about, oh, he gonna be her nigga, all this other shit, right? Which is just crazy to me, because kind of find out this nigga had a whole girlfriend at home. He was a whole father, a whole stepfather. This nigga had a whole girlfriend at home, which is, we'll get into their home. But y'all, this story is long as hell, and it's crazy because I was gonna tell y'all more of what happened, but it wouldn't even make, it's too long. That gotta be a whole nother story time in itself. Y'all, I know this story was all over the place, so I think I know what I'm gonna title it. But y'all, so we end up eventually going back to the car. But no, before we got back to my car, we dropped Lena off at home because he was like, Enemy was like, do I want to spend the night? And I was just like, all right, whatever. So Lena was just like, oh, y'all could drop me off now, so Symone don't gotta get her car and then come back and then find a spot. So we ended up dropping Lena off at home, and we ended up going in the house, and I spent the night over there at his TC house or whatever, which I don't know why we didn't just go to my house, because it would have made more sense. But we didn't. I didn't really like bring him over to my house, because honestly, you probably gonna tell my grandma you smoke crack too. And then it's gonna just be all bad, y'all. Because I ended up telling my mom, you know, that's crazy. I told my mom, I was like, my boyfriend is a drug addict. And she was just like, what? You know, I don't know why I told her that. Maybe like, I told her maybe so she could talk some sense into me. You know what? But I didn't listen. Everybody was talking sense into me. They was just like, bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I was just like, I'm gonna stick beside him. But yeah, that was it for this story, y'all. I don't know what I'm gonna title this story, because I didn't think this story was gonna be this long. I don't know how long it is, but I know when I first started recording, it was 12 and now it's 12:48. So it's another part of the story that I was gonna go to, but that's a whole nother story in itself. But I really want to give y'all that one, so it's gonna be coming soon. It's gonna be coming soon. But that's the end of this story, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give your girl a thumbs up, and comment down below. And thank you guys so much for tuning in.